The Kenyan media and film industry has taken a real boom with the recent government that's come in. And today we're very privileged to be on set with Dorothy Ghettuba, the CEO of Spielworks. Now, we spoke to her earlier on radio at Capital in the morning, but we have an exclusive one-on-one on this beautiful set. Dorothy, thank you so much for giving us some time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I think it's you having us.
Yes, yes.
But I've got to ask you, how did you get started? I know you gave us the shorter version, but I'd love to know, how did you get started as a filmmaker and producer?
I think, like I said, it goes back for me, back to high school, you know, the whole drama thing and writing and the inter-house drama and inter-house music. And so that's where I got that interest in film and television and drama and theatre and everything creative. And so when I turned 18, I wanted to go to UCLA, and my parents sort of kind of like asked me if I was crazy, because that was not going to happen. And so I went and I did the conventional jobs and worked in Canada in the financial sector. And then one day, sincerely speaking, I say I always don't have a grand story. I was watching TV. I remember it was Judging Amy. And I looked and I said, I think I can make TV shows. And that was it. That was it. I had no idea. I didn't know how to write a script. I didn't know how to teach myself everything. And so I taught myself how to write scripts. And that was by watching TV shows and the internet. And then came to Kenya for a friend's wedding. And so that... one of the local TV channels that was last was first. I asked what happened, and they said local content is key in this particular channel. And I looked at the other channels, and they didn't have lots of local content, and I saw an opportunity. And so I went back to Canada, packed up my stuff, and came to Kenya. And that's how I got into television.
Dorothy, it takes a heck of a lot of courage to pack up, move countries, change careers, especially when you don't know that it's a job that you're going to. What is it that drives a person like you to do something like that?
I think for me, I'm driven by passion. My passion, it really informs my purpose. That is something that, yeah, that's it. My passion is driven, it drives my purpose. And so it was a big risk, but I am a big risk taker. I'm a big risk taker. I remember in Canada, even my house, I didn't have a sense of permanency. You know, people are getting mortgages for houses, and I didn't do that. And my furniture was IKEA furniture, which is furniture that looks good, but it's not quite expensive, and I can trash it at any point in time. I always knew that I was gonna leave. I was very restless, and that's the thing with creative people. Failure was not an option. I didn't have a plan B. There was no plan B.
Right.
I just did not have a plan. That's the thing I keep saying to people. I did not have a plan B when I was leaving Toronto, because when you're flying to Amsterdam from Pearson in Toronto, the plane tilts and you see the whole of Toronto, you know, and it tilts and then it turns and it's off to Amsterdam. And as the plane tilted, I said, I am going to redefine television in Africa, and failure is not an option.
Wow. Okay, so I've got to take a couple of steps back here and just deconstruct all of this. First of all, you were in the financial sector.
Yes.
So most people who are in the financial sector or who are in certain professions, accounting, legal, that kind of thing, would not define themselves as creatives. How did you figure out that you were creative?
I've always known, because I sing and I write and I act and I dance. So it's in me. So I've always known. I've always known I'm a creative person. Being in the financial sector, I worked in venture capital and mostly in communications. But there I learned so much. I learned how people raise money. That is a skill that has come to benefit me later. It's been so helpful. And so I've also learned that I'm somewhere for a reason, for a purpose. Every step in our lives, it's leading you to that thing. That's how I look at it. Because from the degree that I was rolling my eyes I didn't want to do, to working as an assistant to a CEO, when I saw that guy and I saw what drives him, because that was my first job out of university, and I saw what drove him, and I said, okay, I like that. I can deal with that. So everything. So yeah, but I can tell you, people in the financial sector, yeah, those are the creative people. I can tell you, in Kenya, people are hiding. We are Africans. We're inherently creative people. I am convinced. Have you seen how we dance and how we sing and how we write? How we paint, how we draw, how we make things? We are inherently a creative people. So yes, we can hide in bunks and hospitals and whatever, but we are inherently creative people.
So then how do you translate that from the financial sector on a plane in a new country, well, in a new old country, and start basically from scratch? Did you have, if you don't mind my asking, was there old money backing you up? Was there the proceeds of the sale of a house in Toronto?
Oh, gosh. You know, I had saved and I came here for a job. The first step was to learn about the industry, and not only the industry, but the TV and film industry in Kenya. That was the first challenge, and I was fortunate. There was a production that was going on at that time, and so I landed a job as a production manager. Now, I had no experience, but I figured production management is project management. I'd done that before. It's just a different place. Let's just go. Let's do it. Let's learn. And it was a tough production. It was extremely difficult. Everybody was learning on the job, but it was tough. Sometimes not a very pleasant experience, but it was a baptism by fire, and that was the way to learn. So I don't think I learned how to produce, but I learned how not to produce.
Oh,
There's a big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
almost
learned
by default.
Yes, I learned you don't do this. Then I had to go and start doing my own productions and learning how to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But the thing is that and hindsight is 20/20. Later on is when I realized it's just as well I went through that process, because now when my sound guy says, Dorothy, I need batteries, I need this, I pay him mind. I don't dismiss it because I know it's important, because I saw how it was when the sound guy didn't have what he needed. Do you see what I'm saying? So for me, I came and I learned. It was baptism by fire.
I'm interested now to know, because you're talking about baptism by fire, what were some of your lowest moments?
In that particular production, or in...
Well, generally, having sort of moved into film and into production.
Oh, I tell you, I've heard lots of people ask me. Lots of people have asked me that question. And, I say, challenges are challenges and obstacles, and you jump over them and stuff like that. But there's one particular moment that really was very tough for me. I had produced a series, and I had delivered to the network, one of the local networks, and the local networks had not paid. And so I had the crew and the cast members saying, pay us. And I couldn't pay them because I didn't have money. And that was my issue with, the local networks, that they sometimes delay the pay. But, people are providing a service. So they're not quite interested whether or not you've been paid. And I try to sell the vision, and I try to say, I'm going to get the money, but people have got bills to pay. They don't have time to listen. And I remember one of the actors took to the internet and absolutely slandered my company. And that was a dark day for me. I remember I was in my room, and I remember curling up, and for about 6 seconds, I wanted to quit. But I couldn't. So I can tell you that is the one moment I have considered quitting. Wow. But you have to be made of sterner stuff to be a producer. Here, in Cambodia, in America, in the UK, in whatever. To be a producer, you have to be tougher than that, and that's the conversation you have to have in your head.
Now, it hasn't all been dark moments, I'd imagine, because otherwise we wouldn't be in this very beautiful setting. So highlights, the absolute highlight of your career so far.
But there's two. So can I say two?
Yeah, go on then.
You know what?
Yeah.
No, let me tell you. So two things, and we've had our shows nominated for the local Kalasha Awards and the African Magic Viewers Choice Awards, and I have a talented team. My editing team was nominated, and my art department, as you can see, they're very deserving of the nominations. They were nominated as well, and there was a young girl called Maureen Koech. Maureen Koech was nominated for Best Supporting Actress, and this category required votes to win, and she was up against Nigerian actresses and South African actresses. And I remember sitting in Lagos, and they called out her name, and I was a mess. I was in absolute tears. I was so proud of her. I was so proud of her because she's, number one, very good and very disciplined, and she's just a great example of how young people can make it in this industry. But also because people voted for her, that means they like the show. That means they like what the team is doing. And that was great, because I felt that in her getting that award, everybody, the entire team at Spielworks Media was getting that award, and people were saying, we like what you're doing. We like what you're doing, and we congratulate you. So that was really, really exciting for me. The second highlight is a very recent thing. We've moved to this space here that we've converted into studios, and I think for me is just to look at the fact that I just got space, empty space. And this really dawned on me. I think a weekend, 2 weekends ago, I was here, and it was quiet, and there was no one. It was a Sunday, and I was walking through the sets, and I realized that I got empty space, but I had set designers here, and I had the wardrobe artists here. I had everybody play something, do something, and this space became a space that creates magic and television. And I say that, yes, we are redefining how Africa is watching television.
Wow.
That, to me, that was my highlight. And I keep getting these highlights, and something happens and it really surpasses the other, but this was the most recent. Just these wonderful people that I work with. They really are so awesome. And I'm just not saying it to be saying it. Everybody brings their best here, and the finished product is amazing. So for me, just having these young people, and I think I'm the oldest, actually, out of all of them, that to me, that's so exciting. That is very, very exciting, because we are making creativity a financially viable option.
Dorothy Ghettuba, CEO, Spielworks Media, thank you so much for spending time with us at Capital FM.
Thank you.
Well, there, you heard it. The 3 Ds of how to make your dream come true.
Dream, decide, and do.
This has been Renee Gaval for Capital FM's Focus with Renee. Till next time, see ya.